So I did a post on the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 119th Congress. But one of the other things that happened during that congressional session was the passage of the House Rules Package. But I think people are confused about what that rules package actually does. There are people online pointing out right now that the rules package includes terrible things like amending the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 to require proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections, and, quote, for other purposes. Because it's questionable what those other purposes where you may have to prove your citizenship might be. The Republicans claim they're going to reclassify fentanyl as a more serious substance, which sounds like a good idea because fentanyl kills a lot of people a year, but it's already a class 2 substance. So to classify it as class 1, it would have to be not medically necessary in any situation. And fentanyl is actually used in medical practices and surgery, so I'm not sure how they plan to do that. The Republicans want to prohibit any moratorium on fracking so that it's just a free-for-all for fracking, just environment be damned, which is not really a surprise for the party of the president who asked oil and gas companies to give him $1 billion so he could get rid of those pesky environmental regulations. The House seems to have created a rule saying doctors will have to try to save the life of a child who survives an abortion, weirdly calling the fetus a child, but also putting doctors in clearly awkward and questionable positions moving forward. They propose that assaulting a law enforcement officer would be a deportable offense. No word on the January 6th heroes that did that very thing. They want to revoke federal funds to sanctuary cities that harbor illegal aliens. So that would be a law allowing the federal government to stop sending money to any blue cities in blue states that don't bend the knee to Trump and say, let the military or law enforcement into their states to round up people willy-nilly. They want to allow the Secretary of Homeland Security to take into custody aliens who have been charged in the United States with theft and for other purposes. Again, it's the inclusion of the other purposes that should set off warning bells. The Republicans propose that any illegal alien who commits a sex crime or domestic violence can be deported, but apparently white American-born men who commit those same crimes can be in the federal government. In order for a school to get Title IX funds for athletics, they must recognize that there are only two sexes, male and female, as determined by reproductive biology, completely erasing trans people from American public schools and completely ignoring the existence of intersex people. These Republicans plan to subpoena a bunch of other high-profile people to ask more questions about Hunter Biden, because apparently the 119th Congress is going to continue to waste our taxpayer dollars on Hunter Biden. And they will permanently close the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. There were other inclusions in the bill, like imposing sanctions on any international criminal court, taking action against people like, say, Benjamin Netanyahu, and things that were left out, like Nancy Mace's Mean Girl anti-trans bathroom ban. None of the things included by the Republicans are good, but I want to be clear that they aren't laws. The included proposed bills will have to still be brought to the floor and voted on. The House Rules Package is not some free-for-all to change the laws in America on a whim. They still have to pass the House and the Senate before they can be signed by the president. So although we can see what the priorities of the next Republican Congress and leadership are right off the bat, the most notable change is that the Republicans raised the threshold to call for a vote to remove the Speaker of the House from 1 person to 9. So Mike Johnson has slightly more job security now. The rest they're going to have to try and get past. And while they will probably be successful with much of this extreme and cruel agenda, they only have the slimmest of majorities. So it's not going to be as easy as they think. This is a great reminder of the importance of elections, because clearly the House has a lot of power to change our lives, but every single one of those House members comes up for election every 2 years. Food for thought.